This is a Yorick one trick, and this is me. So for the next 10 hours, I'm gonna try to learn Yorick in 3 steps. First, play some normal games. Second, do some research. And third, play some ranked games. I'm doing this because I'm trying to learn every champion so one day I can make the greatest Viego video ever. And stick around until the end because one of the best Yorick one tricks in the world, Slogdog, will give me some final tips based on my gameplay.
Everyone who wants to play Yorick, don't.
So first, what runes and builds should I go? Well, buckle up because there are 2 very different builds we need to go over. First, we have Bruiser Yorick. It's easier to play and likes long fights, but it's worse at split pushing and does less damage. This build is meant to fist fight your opponent at close range. And next we have Lethality Yorick, the more popular of the 2 builds. It melts towers and your ghouls do unfathomable damage, but it's worse for beginners because it's super punishing if you mess up. For your runes, you usually go Conqueror because your ghouls stack it very quickly. However, Grasp and Arcane Comet are both viable options depending on matchup. And with that, on to some normal games. I think it's safe to say my first game got off to an absolutely amazing start, winning a 2v2 top lane by running around letting my ghouls just do tons of damage. And things got even better when I killed Cassante in a 1v1. A few minutes later, I got 1 tower, then 2 towers, then 3 towers. I mean, even though we were down 9-11, if I was there, we won the fight. I didn't even have my maiden or ghouls, and I just bopped them with my Q. Yeah, we won this game in 17 minutes. My next game I got placed mid for some reason, and it did not get off to a great start. This was my first time trying a more damage-focused build, and I did not know what I was doing. A few minutes later, the game was 9-23, so we surrendered in 15 minutes. Game 3 was against another Cassante, and it was this game I learned if my ghouls hit Cassante, I take tower aggro. Wait, why did I start taking aggro? After those deaths, I got a little tilted and died over and over and over again. I'm not gonna lie, I totally got carried this game. But my next game started off pretty well compared to my last one. Until MF went AFK at 12 minutes. She did come back at around 17 minutes, but by then we had already lost our bot tower and their bot lane was roaming around the map getting kills. But just when all hope seemed lost, I was somehow able to get a huge double kill and bring us back into the game. Oh, I got 2! With that huge double kill and MF coming back, all of a sudden the game seemed winnable and our mental completely turned around. I charged forward because I was basically unkillable, and even though our bard ulted me for some reason, we were able to win the fight. By the time we hit late game, I was a complete monster, doing tons of damage and being unkillable to their all AD team. But for some reason, my team started flaming each other again after MF got caught out. And then our Hui, the one who was flaming the most, pulled off this amazing play. Hui, you walk up, you die, by the way. I would just like to say, you're dead. What are you doing? After this game, I realized Yorick is such a stupid champion. So I did some research on YouTube and here's what I found. 1. Your best panic abilities are Q and W. I was using E for the slow to run away and my ult, which has a long cast time. Your Q heals you and does a lot of damage, and your W can trap the opponents, which might save your life. 2. Your ghouls and maiden make you take tower aggro, as you saw before. However, you can juggle aggro with your ghouls by walking in and out of tower range to take less damage. It is a little hard to time though. 3. Your W is one of the most powerful abilities in the game because the enemy can't walk through it, but your whole team can. You can use it to block off choke points and escape, or run around in a 1v1 and let your ghouls hit the enemy. And 4. If your opponent ever takes a bad back or you get a kill after you're level 6, push. You absolutely melt towers, and if it's like 12 minutes into the game or something, you can sometimes take a whole tower for your opponent messing up 1 time. There are a few more tips from Slogdog himself, but that's gonna be at the end of the video. And with that, on to some ranked games. For my first ranked game, very little happened. But remember when I said just 1 mistake can lead to a tower? Well, a failed roam by Aatrox led to a free tower for me. And then killing Aatrox 1 time led to another tower like a minute later. And while Aatrox was mid, instead of stopping me bot, I got another tower, and then another tower about 20 seconds later. So even though I ended with the score of 1, 1, and 5, I definitely did a lot this game. But don't worry, this game was definitely a lot more eventful. Definitely still got a lot of towers too though. But it's Yorick. Obviously I'm gonna get a lot of towers, but let's watch me get some kills. Over these last few games, I really started to fall in love with Bruiser Yorick. Don't worry, I did play Lethality Yorick too, but my plan was to switch when I eventually lost with Bruiser Yorick, which, let me tell you, took a while. My next ranked game started off pretty well. I got a kill on Cassante under tower, which made him miss a ton of CS, and even though I died to Diana, it was still a big win. And even though I died a few minutes later getting a tower, it was still pretty worth because I was pulling a lot of pressure top. A couple deaths and a couple towers later, our team won a big fight in the enemy jungle. I even got a 6 snipe. You just couldn't see it because my stupid head was in the way. Oh, I did hit him! Oh, I'm the best. Oh, I'm so fucking good at this game, man. We won the game a few minutes later. My next game was against a Quinn, a ranged top laner who would make laning miserable, who also had a ton of mobility, which would make split pushing more difficult. I also decided to go full tank this game because we already had plenty of damage, but I would discover later that Lethality was a way better build for the Quinn matchup. I definitely wouldn't recommend full tank Yorick, but considering every other player on my team did a ton of damage, I still think it was correct to have a frontline. This game was actually a roller coaster, each team winning fights back and forth, and even when we were winning fights, the Quinn was backdooring trying to win the game. Even the end of the game was a banger. We were fighting 3v2 and had Baron, but the enemy team was coming up in a few seconds. If we overstayed and died here, we would lose the game, but we really thought we could end. Then the enemy team started to revive and things looked super close, but luckily we won the game in the end. Say what you want, but full tank Yorick gets results. My next game was another game where I just got a lot of towers. Honestly, this champion is not fair when it comes to split pushing. Also, please don't pay attention to my build. I completely forgot to buy Trinity Force somehow, and even without it, my split pushing was still insane. This is such a dumb game. This is so stupid. What is this, man? I just split push all game, and if they TP away, I get their entire... I hate this game. So, even though I hadn't lost a game yet, I decided to finally try Lethality Yorick, and let's just say it started off way better than I could have imagined. Not only does Lethality Yorick just not let the enemy play the game, I mean, look at this damage, but I'm also able to take towers just as fast, if not faster, than before. Honestly, this build just does so much damage, it's disgusting. After this Ahri kill, I had no idea my ghouls were chasing down Viego and killing him. I didn't even know I killed him until someone in my chat told me to watch the replay. I think it's safe to say my first game on Lethality Yorick was not only fun, but a massive success. This is so stupid! So yeah, Yorick might be broken. My next game started off a little rough, but then the Lethality Yorick gaming experience kicked in. I mean, there I was, 1 and 2, behind in CS, casually 1v2ing the enemy top laner in their jungle. Didn't even have my maiden, by the way. And once I did have my maiden, this poor Shen didn't stand a chance. But sadly, this is the game I realized the weakness of Lethality Yorick. I am very squishy. Like, if I get CC'd for even 1 second, I get blown up and die. In the end, I just wasn't used to the playstyle after being Bruiser Yorick for so long, and I just played way too close to the enemy team. 6 wins in a row was definitely a good run though. Game 12 started by barely dying to the Darius who dove me. But in typical Yorick fashion, it didn't matter. I took his tower in 10 minutes and then killed him under his second tower at 12 minutes. This is so stupid! What the fuck? But in the end, our bot lane won so hard, the enemy AD carry rage quit, so they surrendered in 15 minutes. And just like in every video, there was one game that was a real heartbreaker. And just like I said earlier, it turns out Lethality Yorick was way better against Quinn than tank. Also, oh my goodness, this damage is disgusting. Anyway, things were going great. We had just gotten an inhib, but for some reason, we wanted more. Sylas started TPing in, so we tried to end the game right then and there, but then Yasuo got a massive ult that changed the whole game. Yeah, after that fight, Yasuo basically took over the entire game, and we lost a few minutes later. So after 2 losses with Lethality Yorick, I decided to go back to Bruiser Yorick, and maybe it was just the tilt from the last game, but it did not start off very well. But it's fine. The enemy Tryndamere couldn't kill me because of my armor, and I was able to take towers easily. I mean, this champion is honestly just so dumb. 0, 1, and 1, getting 2 towers against a Tryndamere. This is not balanced. That's the thing about Yorick. You don't need kills, all you need to do is take towers. But let me tell you, getting kills is also pretty nice, especially when it's a 1v2 where you know the enemy team is super tilted after losing that one. Anyway, after that double kill, I was able to push and get the whole top lane tower in one push, which got me super far ahead. This game was wild because out of nowhere, we were just in the enemy base. We had Rift Heralds, so we said, fuck it, let's try to end, and it turned out to be kind of a disaster. I also overestimated my damage a little bit and died at the end of the fight. After that little throw, things got scary for a little while, but eventually we were able to get another really good fight where Tristana and I deleted the enemy team. I mean, even without full lethality, this build just does so much damage. Yeah, we won the game right after that fight. My next game was the worst game of this whole 10-hour challenge. And to make things worse, right when I was about to win a 1v1, he leveled up, got his ult, and I had to run for my life. And after that, he got so far ahead of me, I couldn't even walk back to lane. I had to walk all the way around, which made me miss even more EXP and gold. And when it came down to the final fight, the enemy Renekton just completely took over. I think winning 8 games with Yorick made me a little overconfident, and this Renekton gave me a much needed reality check. Maybe I'll give Lethality Yorick another try. To start off the final hour, I played a fight very poorly, but still killed Darius under tower, so he missed a lot of CS. And just like the last time I played Lethality Yorick, if I made one wrong move, I would immediately and embarrassingly die. But it's fine. After taking 1, 2, 3, 4 towers, I was back in the game. And even though my score looked pretty bad, I was an absolute beast in the final fight. It looked pretty bad at the beginning with a few of our teammates getting caught out, but it didn't matter because I just easily cleaned up the fight, getting a triple kill. And with the whole enemy team dead, we just won the game. And my last game started off with a super close 2v2 top lane where I probably should have died. Then the Akali tried to dive me for some reason and completely messed it up. I mean, all in all, things were looking pretty good. But there was a bit of a problem. Yeah, the enemy team had a 19 kill Twitch and there was just nothing we could do about it. Now, all that's left is to get some final tips from one of the best Yoricks in the world.
You can box in like this kind of wave here. Like just put a cage down, surround those minions, and that can help you hold a freeze. Because you hit this minion, Maiden hits that unit for 2 seconds. I know you want to shove that wave in to get priority. I do too. Trust me, if I'm a listener, I would love to as well. But you have to keep your Maiden in check. So in order to do that, you would run back until Maiden's around at this point. You can start the W animation when he starts his jump animation. You can definitely react to it in time. You can always just use your E and W as a reaction tool rather than as like a, I want to start something up, right? You can just use it as like a, okay, if this guy is going to do something, I'm just going to be there to punish it, right? But well done. It was fun reviewing this. And to everyone who wants to play Yorick, don't.